Welcome to part 3 of day 6 of our epic 40-day 2025 Pacific Northwest road trip. Our final stop of the day was Agate Fossil Beds National Monument before spending the night in Torrington, Wyoming. And here we are entering Agate Fossil Beds National Monument in Nebraska. Looks like there's a trail up there. Agate Fossil Beds National Monument in western Nebraska is an internationally recognized site preserving an extensive collection of Miocene epoch mammal fossils and a significant collection of Oglala Lakota artifacts. Our first stop was at the Visitors Center. We're here at Agate Fossil Beds National Monument in Nebraska. It's amazing, all the wild flowers, I guess black-eyed Susans, as far as the eye can see. Featured in the Visitor Center is an extensive exhibit of Miocene mammal fossils, as well as a unique collection of Native American artifacts gifted to the original ranch owner, Captain James Cook, by the Oglala Lakota Chief Red Cloud. This original block of sediment and bones excavated from Carnegie Hill contained fossils of Minoceras, a pony-sized rhinoceros, the most common animal found in the bone bed. This ancient sandstone block contains natural casts of the hoof prints made by Minoceras. The diorama in the Visitor Center is a life-size display of the bones of mammals who roamed the ancient Nebraska Serengeti. Danahias, a giant pig-like creature, Moripus, a large horse-like creature with large claws, a relative of modern rhinos and horses, and Diphonodon, or bear dog, a mid-sized carnivore. Diphonodon, or bear dog, is an extinct genus of carnivore that lived in North America during the early to middle Miocene epoch. It combined features of both canine and feline predators and was adapted for pursuing prey over open terrain. Despite their nickname, they were a unique lineage of carnivores, not direct ancestors of either modern bears or dogs. Damon Elix refers to devil's corkscrews, spiral-shaped trace fossils left by an extinct non-aquatic beaver called Paleocastor. These formations, found primarily in Nebraska, are hardened cemented sand and silt that filled the unique burrows of these ancient rodents, which they dug to escape predators in harsh climates. This is the trailhead to the Fossil Hills Trail, a 2.7-mile paved trail that leads to the historic Carnegie and University Hill dig sites. As we only had time to do one hike, we decided to skip this trail. This is the Fossil Hills Trail. We're not going to go up it. It's 2.7 miles. Unfortunately, it's really hot and humid. We talked to the ranger behind the desk, and he said that on a day like today, it's probably best not to do it. There aren't any fossils that you can see. It just is a walk up to the places where the actual excavations took place. And it turns out these yellow flowers are a type of sunflower, and they said they got an extremely great crop of them this year. And here's another view of the park. Down way back there is what's called the Bone Cabin. It was a lower ranch that they built for the people who were getting the fossils out.
About midway between the Visitor Center and Fossil Hills is an unpaved 1-mile side trail that leads west to Harold J. Cook's homestead cabin. Restored to what it looked like in 1910 while Harold and his wife Eleanor still lived there, the bone cabin was used after 1914 as the temporary residence for scientists who worked at the fossil quarries. Harold J. Cook, son of James H. Cook, built this homestead cabin in the early 1900s. He called it East Agate, or the Lower Ranch. Fearful that the Carnegie Museum was about to claim the land, his homestead established ownership rights for the Cook family. Much of Agate Fossil Bed's national monument is a prairie. An abundant animal population lives here. The knee-high grasses offer protection and camouflage for small animals and reptiles. Larger mammals such as longhorn antelope roam the open landscape. Our final stop was the Demonelix Trail, a 1-mile trail at the west entrance. 2 displays highlight the trail: the fascinating spiral burrows of the Paleocaster, an ancient dryland beaver, and the Paleosols, fossilized roots, insect holes, and small rodent burrows. These give scientists a rare glimpse of the ecological context the fossilized animals lived in. On the sidewalk was part of a skull of a small mammal, probably a rabbit. At the start of the trail was a triptych of informational signs. The first is titled Significant Numbers, gave information on the National Park Service sites in the area. The second is titled First Fossil Finds and gave a brief history of the discovery of the Demonelix as well as information on the park itself. The third is titled Two Cultures, One Land and described the dynamics of the friendship between rancher James H. Cook and the Oglala Lakota leader Red Cloud. The Demonelix Trail is an easy loop trail with an elevation gain of 137 feet. The main attraction is the opportunity to see several Demonelix fossils in situ. Some of the spiral burrows are protected by plexiglass enclosures. From the highest point of the trail are expansive views across the High Plains tablelands and the historic James H. Cook Agate Springs Ranch. The trail is great for birding and observing native prairie vegetation. One should, however, be mindful of rattlesnakes which are present in the area. Interpretive signs line the path explaining the geology, fossils, and history of the area.
And we're now heading up the Demonelix Trail. It's where ancient beavers dug these spiral burrows, helical.
The first interpretive sign is titled Ancient Dunes.
Now these are some ancient dunes from the Miocene epoch. It's one of the oldest landforms. Sandstone composed of fine volcanic particles transported by wind from volcanoes in Utah and Nevada to the Central Plains.
The ancient Miocene-era fossil beds from 22 million years ago includes fossilized sand dunes. Dunes are one of the oldest landforms and have been exposed by erosion of the Niobrara Valley. It is a sandstone composed of fine volcanic particles transported by wind from volcanoes in what is now Utah and Nevada to the Central Plains. The inclined lines, called cross strata, preserved across the face of the rock outcrop, were created by fine layers of sand cascading down the face of the moving dune.
This is once again a trail going up. I let Mary get a little bit ahead of me so I could take some pictures. Amazing scenery.
The next interpretive sign is titled A Slice Through Time.
So the face of this wall has the series of vertical spiral shapes called the Devil's Corkscrews or Daemonelix by local ranchers. The spirals are burrows of ancient beavers.
The face of this cliff reveals a chronology of geologic events as well as clues about animals and habitats. Halfway up the cliff's face are a series of vertical spiral shapes, first called Devil's Corkscrews by local ranchers. These sandstone spirals are burrows of ancient beavers called Paleocaster. The spacing and number of burrows suggests the animal lived in communities similar to modern prairie dogs. The top of each burrow marks the ground level. Study of the fossilized plant roots associated with the burrows suggests a habitat with abundant vegetation. The bottom of the corkscrew opens into a nesting chamber, tilted upward to prevent the accumulation of water.
Here you can see some more of those holes from the ancient beavers who dug those spiral burrows.
Between 1891 and 1901, research teams from the University of Nebraska and the Carnegie Museum excavated many of the Daemonelix spirals. At first thought to be fossil remains of gigantic plants, they were later identified as fossilized casts of the Paleocaster burrows. The plant-eating rodent had deep-rooted teeth that continued to grow as they wore down. Their teeth were used to dig the burrows while powerful forelimbs pushed the dirt behind.
And this is the fossilized corkscrew burrow. In situ. Continuing up the trail.
The next wayside sign was titled The Lay of the Land.
And this is a view from the top of the hill, or butte, or whatever it is.
So is the river still there, or is it underground now?
I think the river's still there. That's the trail we came up. And now we get to head back down.
The walk from the trailhead spans 3 million years of geological change. The valley below did not exist and the land surface was flat and unbroken by streams. The nearby flat butte tops are remnants of the same ancient plain, identified by a once continuous fossil soil called Paleosol. The Niobrara River gradually cut through the ancient land surface, creating the wide modern valley within the last million years. The white limestone formed from hardened lime mud caps this overlook.
Oh, Nebraska lupin.
Yep.
Next came the split Daemonelix exhibit. The Demonilix in the display case features a single corkscrew burrow leading to 2 den chambers. Most Demonilix have only a single chamber, although their diameters, heights, and overall shapes vary greatly. While at the exhibit, we spotted a cottontail rabbit underneath the rock.
Can you see him?
Yes, there's a bunny right under the rock there. Can you see him now?
Oh my goodness, did he blend in?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Hello, bunny. We're not going to bother you.
This spot on the trail, there's lots of fossil records, especially in that large sandstone formation there. Goes from low as 10 to 15 feet, is about 22 million years old. Also fossil soils, which you can see in there. You can see roots and burrows. Finally, this is a split Demonilix, where right over here you can see where it's split into 2 different den chambers.
By examining ancient soils, scientists can construct a picture of a past environment. Plant roots in these fossil soils are white tubular structures made of silica. Animal burrows often look similar but are filled with gray sand. Root diameters indicate both woody and herbaceous plants were present. The soil high on the cliff is characterized by a meshwork of uniformly small rootlets, indicating a Miocene grassland. Flat discs of tiny fibers of white silica are indicative of insect burrow systems. The Harrison Formation is a geological unit in the Great Plains of North America, primarily in Nebraska, South Dakota, and Wyoming. A record of ancient environments can be read in the cliff face. This outcropping gives a great opportunity to explore it. The gray sandstone, which forms the lowest 10 to 15 feet, is about 22 million years old and was deposited by wind. Above the sandstone is an erosional surface that marks the boundary between the Harrison Formation below and the upper Harrison beds above. This surface represents 1 to 2 million years. Just above is the Agate bone bed level where the Miocene fossils are found. Above this surface are the thin stream deposited sandstones of the upper Harrison beds. Above the stream deposits lies a cliff of wind-blown volcanic sandstone. The surface of the volcanic sandstone was transformed into a silica-cemented fossil soil. It contains the fossil plant roots and insect burrows. I purchased my first souvenir t-shirt at Agate Fossil Beds National Monument. This is my souvenir pin for Agate Fossil Beds National Monument. I have now added it to my faux ranger's hat. We settled down for the night in Torrington, Wyoming. We stopped for a barbecue dinner at the Bronco Grill House, where we saw our first jackalope head of the trip. Mary and I thank you for watching part 3 of day 6 of our 2025 Pacific Northwest road trip. We hope you'll join us for day 7, where we visit Fort Laramie National Historic Site. We followed this with the Oregon Trails sites, Register Cliff State Historic Site and Oregon Trails Ruts State Historic Site in Wyoming, before making our way to Green River, Wyoming for the night.